Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Hello, good afternoon, our viewers. Welcome to your program, your darling program, Issues in Christendom. Every Sunday afternoon between 3 and 4 p.m., we come on air to raise issues in the Christian faith with the goal of deepening our faith. We raise different kinds of issues, and this afternoon we are here again with a very wonderful topic that we bring on board today. God bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Every Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. like this, tune in to Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times. There you're going to see this program live. I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi. Today we want to look at a topic that is very practical. We're looking at the issue of JAPA syndrome. But before I introduce my colleague today on the show, I would like you to connect with us through our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Yes, I said today we're looking at JAPA syndrome. And now with me in the studio this afternoon, no other person, a doctor, psychiatrist, consultant in psychiatry, and also a pastor for the Baptist Church, Pastor Dr. Adeoye Oyewole. Good afternoon, doctor, and welcome today.
Yes, good afternoon, our viewers at home. You're welcome to the program this afternoon.
Awesome. Yes, JAPA, for the sake of people who are non-Yoruba speaker, JAPA in Yoruba simply means to flee or to escape from a place to another place. And in the context of this conversation, it means to flee from Nigeria to go abroad. And then in the last 3 years, it has become a slang that everybody's using, around on the street everywhere. I want to JAPA, I want to JAPA, I want to JAPA, and all that. So I want to ask Dr. Oyewole this afternoon. Of course, we understand that it means to relocate to another country. And we see a lot of young people in the last 3 years particularly moving abroad, especially to UK. So I want to find out what could be responsible for this massive exodus in the last 3 years.
Yes, thank you, Pastor. I think the factors are about 2 or 3. One, we've had leadership failure in Africa. Our leaders have not done well. And worse still, Nigeria, where we have been blessed with petrodollars. We made a huge amount of money from the sale of petrol. Unfortunately, the bulk of this money has been stolen, and no infrastructure or social welfare facilities have been put in place in successive government, both the democratic and the military.
Okay.
Now came the global meltdown, the COVID. That COVID time was the first time that the whole world was shut down. Unbelievably so. That the whole world was shut down.
Practical shutdown. Everywhere.
The damage that shutdown caused is global. We have global economic problems. Even when we call the developed countries, they have had their residents to pay more tax. A lot of things, subsidies they used to give before, they no longer give it. So things have become difficult. And if developed countries are having such issues, what still developing nations? So in Africa here, the brunt of the post-COVID years is enormous. The unemployment statistics is coming up. I mean, recently we have the fallout is also this subsidy removal. The Nigerian government has been perpetually broke, even before Buhari left, which means no new jobs. People who have jobs are just being managed. So when you put all of this together, it's a nightmare to a father, to a mother with children. People look at the future, there's some degree of hopelessness, you know, and because no plans are difficult to make with this kind of the thing. We've talked about the OCD post-COVID affecting the economy. We now talked about subsidy removal recently, of which case what used to subsidize our living here has been removed. The price of petrol per liter, gas, cooking gas,
of course,
has gone up. Price of food material.
Of course, everything. I mean, once the price of petroleum and gas has gone up, everything, transportation will come in, everything.
So if you don't, there's nobody that is not startled and rattled.
Yeah.
Because at times you look at the future and say, okay, how do we? Some people wake up. How do we plan? How do we get money to build a house? How do we get money to sustain our children in school? I know of some colleagues who have children abroad who have to be using naira to be paying pounds or dollars with this exchange rate that we are having here. So I think the JAPA syndrome is a fallout of, like, let me just escape out of here.
Anyhow.
Without thinking, without regard for procedure, without consideration for what is going to happen there. So a lot of people are moving out. I also don't want to castigate people there because, like, one of them told me that even when they tell us, we will listen. That life here is not like it is in Africa or Nigeria, that you don't go around picking dollars or pounds on the street. You walk through your nose to get things done. And for every dollar you earn or every pound you earn, you must have worked for it.
That's true.
So it's like most of them also don't want to listen to what people are saying concerning their state, the way they stay, their living standards there. All we see is somebody posing near one new car somewhere, a nice environment, clean environment, but you're not asking where that person is sleeping or how much he's earning.
That's true.
And then how much tax he's paying.
Okay.
And how much money can he get out of that system. We just keep hearing the exchange rate. We just be spending pounds. They are not you. But to get £1 out of that place is difficult. So
exactly.
I think these are the reasons. So when we that are here watch some photos, we don't think deep. We just come, pack our load, and then we face the place.
Yeah.
I think that can explain why.
So leadership, failure, the feedback from those who are in abroad, and also the reality of the economic challenge in this part of the world, which is global anyway.
Global, yeah.
But because Nigeria is still a developing economy, the damage, the effects is much more. And then, like we said, that of course people have been moving out of Nigeria for different reasons in the past, but the last 3 years has been very massive.
Very.
I mean, that's a response to the post-COVID.
Post-COVID, yes.
Post-COVID.
And then, of course, mismanagement of our resources.
Our resources here as well, you know, because you may not have the same massive exodus from other African nations like we have in Nigeria.
No, it's massive.
It's massive.
Our population, and then the rate at which the means of livelihood have skyrocketed.
And it also, like Nigerians within Africa, we're a bit aggressive.
Absolutely, because we're exposed.
Compared with other nations.
There's nowhere you don't see Nigerians all over the world. See them in UK. There are actually certain borough in London that is dominated by Nigerians, not even Africans, Nigerians.
Even America, everywhere.
There are places you see them that you know these are Nigerians. So because of our ubiquitous nature, because of a lot of exposures we see people have, we also think, why not me? If not,
exactly.
Why can it not be me? And then they paint pictures of when you get to UK, it's like you're picking pounds standing on the street. And then, one son of, in fact, I listened to one of my brothers forwarded the skit to me.
Okay.
How the father was calling him. That what are you doing? Don't you think you're a total waste? This investment is bad. Your other friend has bought a house for the father. He has bought a car. So what are you doing? You say you've been working around, you didn't see a job. You know, all these kind of things can be frustrating. So parents themselves are frustrated. Children are frustrated.
That's right.
Wives are frustrated.
That's right.
Husbands are frustrated.
Everybody frustrated here and there, you know.
So and that's why the JAPA thing. And you know, the grass is always greener
on the other side.
On the other side of the fence.
You know, to be able to JAPA is a lot of money.
Too much.
Anyone that can put resources together to JAPA isn't doing so bad here.
Yeah, because the amount of money is in millions.
Of course.
So
at least 10 million.
And you are going somewhere with that. It means it's not even for hustlers. It's for those who have means here that are even JAPA.
Exactly. Like kind of middle class.
Yes, that have some savings, some form of credit worthiness here.
Who are doing well here in
Fairly
a way,
well.
but feel that with the way things are going, if you look at the future, some have had to sell all of their investment here.
Absolutely.
Houses. I mean, we've seen doctors close down their private hospitals.
Oh, yes, sell it. Sell properties and go.
In fact, recently I saw a news where they said a pastor sold his congregation.
I saw.
I'm like, what? So JAPA is that bad?
Is that bad?
That kind of a thing like that. But then, what should be a Christian's response to the issues that you raised? Leadership failure, the news from the other side, and then the economic meltdown here. How should a Christian respond to this pressure? Even if you have the means to JAPA, how do I respond as a Christian?
Yeah, thank you, Pastor. I feel that, like Jesus Christ taught us, that to pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Amen.
Now, one of the most fundamental challenges of being a Christian is that we are not of this world, even though we are in the world. Number two, we have the resources of a kingdom that is not immediately visible or tangible. And not many people have that depth of understanding to have this awareness. Because when this awareness is not there, we become hustlers. So it is the hustling that makes us victims of JAPA syndrome. And we are hustlers because we are not aware of God's capacity of divine provision. We are also, worse still, not aware of the capacity of our human spirit to guide us correctly. Because, I mean, why is it that it's only when we want to marry that we Christians actively seek the face of God?
And start hearing God's voice.
People don't seek the face of God for career, surprisingly. Okay, I'm a doctor. I have a BBS. God, where do you want me to go? I've just left the university. What is it that God wants me? People don't seek that.
Where should I live?
Where should I live? Because in the case of JAPA syndrome, people just hear testimonies of some people, which is usually incomplete. And you know, the grass is always greener across the fence.
That's true.
People just begin and they put themselves under pressure and that's how they go to the UK or go to US. Unfortunately, a good number of them, if not majority, are regretting it now because the government did not give any one of them permanent citizenship.
No.
It's a temporary visa that needs to be renewed. The renewal is also based on certain amount of money they need to pay to the government.
That's right.
Which the facility of work they have now is not paying enough. A good number, I mean, imagine if I go now, some doctors can't even practice as a doctor there.
That's right.
They need to start doing some exam with my son. Or I become a taxi driver, or I become a security officer.
Wow.
You know, some people, when everybody is going to sleep in the night, that's when they brace the cold to go. And how much are they paying them per hour or per shift?
Wow.
So you will see that our inability to trust God for guidance and decision making is a huge problem.
I even learned that in the UK particularly, a good number of our brethren who moved there, like to work on Sundays.
Yes.
Because the pay per hour for Sunday is higher.
Yeah.
I even learned it's times 2.
Oh, maybe because not many people show up.
Exactly.
I didn't know about that, but
So
it sounds to reason.
somebody in the UK was telling me this, that the pay is times 2 per hour. So they will just, the issue of worship.
They will worship while they are working.
Exactly. And that's that's why the online ministry that were born during COVID is still thriving for people like that.
Absolutely.
As they are standing in front of the gate as security man, he's on Facebook watching a live service somewhere. He may even give, but that fellowship side is not there because he wants to make the money.
It's a shame because I think a man is first of all spiritually displaced before he's psychologically displaced, before he's physically displaced.
Absolutely true.
If you see how families are living there, we will want to do a seminar in your church and talk about. Most pastors should speak to this issue of JAPA syndrome. Rather than us as pastors passively staying there and be anointing visa or anointing international passport, where they will give you the visa. Visa to where and for what? How is this your consideration of traveling out connected to the purpose of God concerning your life? Have you ever sat down to find out this work that God has given me, where is it going to flourish most? If my Dr. Adefela has traveled, we possibly wouldn't have rave.
I mean,
you will be one man somewhere in UK, and you understand what I'm saying?
Or wherever.
Or just with him and his wife and family.
That's right.
So I believe that God has a plan for all of us. That plan, He has put it in our heart, and He wants us to discover that plan. In discovering the plan, we know the territoriality, like he discussed, that Alabi said, Bishop.
Bishop yes, that.
Yes. Hey.
Imagine now I'm in the US. There is nowhere I can
we wouldn't have Covenant University.
No, there's nowhere we can become.
No landmark university.
No, not at all.
And there's another one coming, Goshen, in Abuja. Massive place, yes. So you can see how destinies, you can imagine the number of destinies that have been damaged by I just must travel because there's an immediate economic challenge. And this immediate economic challenge, I am not responding to it spiritually. I'm responding to it like a mere man. Just like Paul spoke to say, why are you behaving like this? Is there no envy? Why are you you are like you are behaving like mere men. So people talk about going to this UK, US like you're going to paradise. It's like as soon as you get in there and they give you your visa, then your life
has transformed. Things don't work like that.
A good number of our young girls are also being dated by some of these people who don't have correct papers in UK. Or if they have correct papers, they are not the kind of work they are doing. It's not the type that can feed a family. And our young ladies, when they say, where's your fiancé? Say he's living in the UK. Then you send some photograph, we show you some photograph. Yeah, have you asked where he's working? What's his qualification? The kind of work he's doing there? Where does he live? The house he's staying. Because there are people who have had to sell properties in Nigeria and go there. When they go there, they say they are staying in one room, 2-bedroom apartment with a mother, father, and 3 children.
Everybody.
And they are not even allowed to do the kind of work they were doing here. The one that is also common is the one for students. When you say you win a scholarship for masters or you got admission, they say come, but you're not going to spend more than 2 years. In these 2 years, you can bring your wife. Your wife may not even be given work permit. So she'll be doing some odd jobs that is not going to be tangible enough. You as a student, you can't even work more than 20 hours.
20 hours a week.
So you will see that they need to feed the children. They need to take care of home. And we at home are already waiting for them. That we know that somebody's son traveled 2 years ago. Within 2 years, he has built a house for them. He has bought a car. You, what are you doing there? So the pressure is right, left, and center, and people are caving in. And we have not seen the worst of it until, let's give it another 2-3 years, when some of the scholarships are expiring, when some of the agent, the kind of visas and work permit they got for their clients is expiring. I think that's the problem.
It's a huge, huge one. So for a Christian who is supposed to be governed by the Spirit of God, we need to seek God, not just for when we're about to get married, but also for career choice and then the city. You know, I was making the reference to Isaac in our radio program, how during famine he wanted to escape to another place because he felt the other side was doing better. But God spoke to him. He said, no, you're going nowhere. Stay here. Labor here. And I will bless what you do here. And the scripture says, Isaac sowed in the land. Same year, he reaped 100-fold.
Wow.
In the land where there was famine. But because he was guided, he prospered. Now, if Isaac had labored outside of that place, it would still be hard work. This guy is working hard. But there will be nothing to show. So we need, as covenant people, as people who are led by the Spirit, we need to submit ourselves and not follow the crowd.
The crowd, because you have another Father.
Exactly.
You have the Holy Spirit to guide you. If you see men that are already trapped in foreign countries, you won't be happy.
It's true.
You will see, despite the fact that they manage to stay somewhere, but you will find that these ones are not living.
They're not happy either.
With one kind of cap like this. I remember on Facebook, somebody said, if you know an uncle, if your father and uncle, if we has this kind of cap, better not take it.
It's trapped.
And you will see them all over the place. In fact, there are beggars on the street. Oyibo people begging for money, both in the US and in Britain. No, because the system is that bad. Some are even homeless. You understand what I'm saying? There are a good number of Africans now who are trapped. I land in houses where the allowance is for 3 or 4 people, according to the design. You find people, about 3, 4, 5 people sleeping in the sitting room. So much so that people who are already established there are also running away because they don't want a situation where somebody with fake papers will start living with them.
That's true. It's
if you are with fake papers, you are not working, you keep chopping, you keep enjoying light and all that, you are not contributing and you are disturbing the wife, you are disturbing children, you are eating all the food. So there's a crisis in our hands. And a lot of families are already disillusioned there. There are a lot of them who are even depressed.
That's true.
Some are regretting, why did I have to invest so much money into this traveling without listening and analyzing what is in there for me? So it's a huge problem.
I want us to look at another side. Is it also not possible that God may be moving some people out of Nigeria to places like UK, US, taking advantage of the situation here, and it is in the will of God for them to move?
Absolutely. Because there's no hard and fast route to where God will For ministry, I saw an opportunity for a good number of our preachers here, but not the way some of us, not the kind of prayer.
Do we have a message for them?
We do have a message, but I don't think we have crystallized it. They are not waiting for somebody to raise up a handkerchief, and with due respect, and say that's your, you will get it. That's your job, you will get it. The system is that organized. I think those who will go from here must be able to have an understanding of a mission, or to fill a gap that is in those societies. You made mention of something. There's a need for instance, a lot of pastors that will pastor our children in diaspora. But not this kind of flimsy theology that will grant them and let them know that they can be an example to these other people. Because parenting is becoming challenging there.
That's true.
The system, the school system, the social system does not allow them to properly bring up children, for instance.
That's
the way we bring up our children here.
That's true.
So
that's true.
And a lot of the fathers of those children are not there.
They are home here.
Go to Canada. There are a lot of our young men who have had to take their wives and children to Canada. And they're just looking for some money here to be taking care of them there. At times, the men can't meet up. The wives have to go and work, leaving the children. The children themselves too are already imbibing the culture. And you know that there's a way children don't respect. There's a level of respect they have for their mothers. There's a way they also don't respect. They will respect the man if the man is present. So we have a lot of absentee father. And so, for instance, there's a room. I feel there's a room for some form of pastoring there. Because, for instance, I had an opportunity of meeting my brother's children when I traveled. And I started telling them about their culture. One of them was asking me that he saw his father prostrate for me. Am I the father? Are we not brothers? I said, yes, we are brothers, but in our culture, I'm like the father. And that when she's getting married, I'm the one that will take her to the church. she protested. How can you say that? Are you my daddy? I said, I'm your daddy. In our culture, I'm your daddy. So I got her to explain how our marriages, families are set up, and how we have had to have enduring marriages. Because when you marry, it's not just you and your husband alone. I'm involved. I will travel all the way from Nigeria here to be there, and I will sign. And some other people will sign, apart from your father.
That's
On the other side, too, some people will need to sign.
That's
This is what keeps our marriages here. So there is a room for some form of ministry there. Then, you know, there are children. There's a lot of teenage pregnancy there. You see a girl of 18 or 19 having 2 children. I saw one day, my brother said I shouldn't laugh. I saw this little girl on top, the thing they push, and the older one down. I said, where's the children? I said, where's the father? No father. So, but the man who will go there and preach there must have exemplified a sound marital life. The Igbo man doesn't want you to cut corners. They don't want you to begin to steal or begin to take advantage of the system. Just serve and preach. They will be attracted. Because somehow, the older ones of those systems, especially UK, even the US, they know that there's a bit of a problem. There's a bit of a moral challenge. And they know that spirituality gave birth to this society and that their children are no longer interested. So how would they be interested in such a way that the society can be saved from the decadence? By Friday, they are drunk. Because they're going to watch match tomorrow. They go and
here's a challenge.
So that's a challenge that
a ministry opportunity.
They can fit into. But when you go there with the hope of trying to JAPA, you're trying to con the British people or the American people, they are the people that keep having problems.
That's true.
That's true. Professions. There are professions that, I mean, look at nursing, even doctors, you know, family doctors. Our own field too is also selling like wildfire there because there are a lot of mental health issues.
Exactly.
So those kind of things can. But you also need to know how that fits into what God is dealing with you here. You don't just look at the issue on the surface and say, because it's going to make me have some pounds, then you carry your Ghana must go and then you fail the best.
So, Dr. Ewale, in essence, even for those who are convinced that they have to go there, we need to clarify this. When there's a leading, it's not JAPA.
It's not JAPA.
You are led to go there because there is a mission.
There's a mission
for you there.
It's clear to you.
It's clear.
Just like ministry. Just like ministry here.
Yeah.
There's every minister of God that is called to fulfill a need.
Yeah.
That you have identified.
A mandate.
There's a mandate to serve a purpose.
Exactly. And that the issue of identity comes in here.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't know who you are and you find yourself in the UK, for example, you will just become what you find there.
You begin to tell lies.
Exactly.
I mean, like we discussed on the radio, some people will say they will do a certificate that their wife is dead.
I mean,
so that they can marry another white person to have a paper. That's not purpose. That's not divine.
That's not divine.
You can't be.
It cannot be God.
It can't be God.
It can't be God.
We don't need to go and check it whether it does when I got there.
No.
If you have papers, if you don't have papers, come back home.
I mean, we've seen people who went there and it was very clear. God brought this person here.
Absolutely. The pathway will be smooth. A few challenges here and there, but it doesn't have to take you to a point at which you need to lie that your wife is dead. You have to marry somebody so that when your wife comes, you have to divorce and remarry your wife. Excuse me, over what?
For what? For what? For what? I mean, that's cannot be God. So identity, either you are here or you are over there, is important.
Very important.
If you are here, have a purpose for your life. If you are convinced you're supposed to be on the other side, have a purpose
Because
too.
it will be clear.
To be clear.
It will be an extension of what they are doing here.
Proofs will show.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like you said, challenges will be there. It's just normal.
Basic challenges, just like we have here.
Exactly. But there will be evidence that God brought this person in. I mean, I love this part of the ministry opportunity that you bringing on.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to go and re-evangelize them. I think there's a gap between the ideals that their fathers have used to. I visited one or two churches, and I was sad to see that the whole place is empty. And then I took my time to go through the cemeteries, and I saw epitaphs. They were accomplished career men in the society who also served the church. People buried 1822, 1819, all of that, you know. And you will see that this is the heritage that produced that environment, which is also a challenge to our fathers here.
That's right. That's
Is our gospel helping to build our society? Is our sermon, is it having a relevance in the marketplace? How is it affecting policy? How is it affecting workplace development? How is it affecting people who construct roads and they will not construct fake roads? How do we ensure that if you're a politician and you're a Christian, you are making a difference? I saw that gap. But I think after that generation went and they have produced that society, prosperous society, the children lost, and that must be something we need to discuss one of these days.
Exactly.
How can you have a legacy that is transgenerational?
That's right. That's right.
Africans, we have big men, outstanding men, but after them, their children just nosedive. Why don't we have transgenerationality? Because when God blesses you, it should be transgenerational. I think we need to discuss that.
Exactly.
There must be a strategy. Because what they are having there is that whatever they have, prosperity they have produced, there's a gap. Those kernels of ethics, competence, community development, and prosperity development is lost.
It's lost. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Iwale. We're going to go on a short break. Now, our viewers, I believe that we are picking up, so much from this discuss this afternoon on the JAPA syndrome, and then from a Christian point of view that we must be led into whatever we're doing. So please stay tuned, and then when we come back from the short break, we will continue this discussion. God bless you.
This iconic African presents the narrative of a man destined to exert an imperishable global influence in Western education. His was a story of a freeborn, captured and sold into slavery. He was born in Oshogun, a native Yoruba village near Iseyin in Okeogun axis of southwest Nigeria. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was the foundation student of Fora Bay College, Sierra Leone, the foremost university where the pioneer set of native Africans were educated. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's greatest contribution to humanity was his translation of the Holy Bible into the Yoruba language. The man who authored the Yoruba dictionary was also credited with the translation of English classic hymns into Yoruba and the Ekwere languages. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's private residence in Badagry, incidentally the first story building in Nigeria, is an archival museum dedicated to the memory of Africa's first bishop. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ajayi Crowther as a watershed character in history.
Did you know that it's against the law to trade endangered species in Nigeria?
Did you know that animals like pangolins, crocodiles, sea turtles, and many more should not be hunted, bought, or sold? The best thing for them and the safest thing for us is to leave them to play their role in their natural habitat. Say no to illegal bushmeat. Keep them wild. Keep us safe.
Born Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1909, Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution. The Western region under his administration paraded several enviable records. First television station in Africa, first real estate in Nigeria, first high-rise building in Nigeria, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, first agricultural settlement in Nigeria, first modern civil service secretariat in Nigeria, and first industrial estate in Nigeria. His face is on 100 naira denomination as a mark of honor for his distinguished services to his country. Western Spring Television identifies Obafemi Awolowo as a major character in history.
Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. This is Issues in Christendom on channel 190 Western Spring Television. Today we've been looking at the topic JAPA syndrome from a Christian mind and Christian principle, and they will be able to establish the reasons why in the last 3 years our young people especially have been JAPA, like they say, to UK especially. And then we've been able to look at the fact that as a child of God, it's also important that we are convinced about where we live, and that we should not react to the environment, but rather respond from our spirit.
Intelligently.
Spiritual intelligence.
I think the lack of spiritual intelligence gave birth to JAPA syndrome. It's only natural for anybody who wants to jump once there's a problem. But for a Christian, you cannot afford to just jump. Like we were discussing the other time, these have led to breakdown of families.
Yeah.
Some parents, some families have lost their children to a system that they went into because they didn't go together.
Even some who went together, there was still that gap.
Because of work.
Exactly.
You don't go to pick dollars or pounds on the street.
No.
You have to work very well.
You know, I have a sister. I had the privilege to pastor her when she was in Nigeria. The whole family, they're there. The husband is a doctor, and she was a lecturer here, and then they're there. So recently, I started seeing on her Facebook account, she kept talking about this issue of parenting in a foreign land.
It's a serious
thing. And then she kept talking about it, that she's sharing from our wealth of experience for almost 2 decades living there.
Yes, please.
And educating those who are coming in. This place, so there is a way.
Don't go and squander and destroy what God has given to you. So there are a lot of challenges there. So somebody who just wants to JAPA, and when we're saying you want to travel, it's not just something that you take the visa to one man to pray about. Please let me pray, Baba. Is there
a way here?
That's not the kind of prayer we are telling you. You need to sit down and analyze. Think through it. What value am I going to add? What liability is it going to add to me? What dangers are there? Do you understand what I'm saying? How does my going there and the gap I'm going to fill? We've seen people who would just think you go there Like, for instance, those who are going for masters and they think they will automatically be given citizenship. No. The government has made
not even UK.
Yeah, they've been able to. What they have done is to attract a lot of hands to fill the gap temporarily.
Exactly.
Once they don't need that gap, they tighten it up and then send you back home.
Exactly.
Where are you going to start from? And some people are here gradually building a career. I also think lack of contentment is a problem. When people are not contented and are not following a career path. You see, when you're committed to a career, it anchors your soul. It gives you direction. It gives you purpose. When you are married again, it's another expression of your life. And you put the two together, you can't just afford to take a decision anyhow based on whims and caprices of what you read in the social media or what you heard somebody tell you. So for me, these are the challenges that I see that has given birth to this JAPA syndrome.
Exactly. So for those who are convinced, who have in their work with God, they know that God wants me to pursue this. Please pursue that and go and fulfill the mandate of God for you over there. But for those who are not convinced, who are not led, who just feel that people are going there, me too, I want to join them. Please, caution. I'm thinking about the role of a spiritual leader in helping people to navigate their path on this. Because, you know, as a pastor too, I have church members who are saying, Pastor, please be praying for me. I want to travel. Now, I can't stop them.
No, you can't.
I can't. Because what do I have as an alternative for them here?
Yeah, but you have experience.
However, I have a role to play as a spiritual leader.
Absolutely.
Because if such an individual takes a decision and then Olojaha, as they say,
you won't like it.
I won't like it. It will be like I failed as a spiritual leader in not properly guiding this person. So
yes, I was with my pastor, one of my pastors in town yesterday, Reverend Dr. Femi Akao.
Okay.
He has had opportunities to travel abroad.
Okay.
So he's knowledgeable about it. And then we talked about this JAPA syndrome. And he said he talks about it occasionally. And I said, no, beyond occasionally, sir. You may need to preach sermons on it. Let families, let father, mother, children, because some of these children twist their parents.
Of course.
Some parents have had to go and sell land because my daughter is going to UK. I even found out that when people have master's degree or something from UK, it does not mean when you come back here, you're automatically employed.
For where?
Even in the system, you're not automatically employed.
No.
So we need to sit down that if we are going to commit 10 million, 12 million to this, your master's in UK, what is the value? So these are questions, please.
Yeah.
And some parents have gone bankrupt because of this. And when the child comes back, oh, my daughter has my master's in UK, and so. Because in the UK, they ask for UK experience. Before they get you into the UK experience, there are beyond masters. There are certain, there are courses you can do, hands-on, that it makes you enter the system. So what I'm saying is that spiritual leaders need to be able to counsel their people, ask them questions. But like he said, what can we do? You can only tell them and explain and analyze. Some will hear, some will not hear.
Because I'm also looking at the exposure of the spiritual leader. Because without exposure, the exchange rates can make the spiritual leader say, please go there and be sending home the tithe to the church. It develops. You're not going to be there like that.
But you're not going to be picking the dollars on the street.
I know, but
he wouldn't know.
But he might also feel that I have a pastor friend that is doing exploited because he has some spiritual children in abroad who are sending back home their tithes because they are not even committed to churches over there.
Absolutely.
So if there's a pastor they connect with back home,
that's a lot of money.
So if he makes £1,000, £100 is the tithe. £100 to a pastor here.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, like over 100,000 naira.
Oh, yes, please.
I mean, and it would be like, if I have 10 children like that who are sending £100 every month, that's 1 million naira. I would do a lot of exploit. So please go. That kind of a thing like that. And no exposure.
And that's where I get a little grief. Because when somebody just talks about traveling abroad, they look at people who are already going, they say, oh, like this person is already lucky. He has left us here in this our Nigeria. We should, you understand what I'm saying?
You need to see people's reaction to testimonies of visa procurement.
When they get
Be
it.
like, congrats, what is showing that kind of a thing.
That kind of
what
a thing.
What the new system
I think it's I think it's a lack of understanding of vision, personal purpose, and the breakdown of that purpose. Because you see, this is very important. So that even when you travel abroad, it's a continuation of that purpose that you already have here.
That's true.
That's why late Papa Idahosa would say a lizard here is not going to...
A lizard in Lagos will not become alligator in
New York City.
In New York City.
Or London.
Exactly.
Because the processes there are more stringent. The processes there, before you can go there, if you have purpose and God is speaking to you, you need to understand that their system, how you enter that system, and the system will overwhelm you. I've seen that system decimate people's destinies. It just subjects you to a daily routine and maintenance. When you are coming home to Nigeria, you come and do Shakara small, and then you go back to that routine. Just that continuous routine. No opportunity to express yourself. Not opportunity to impact lives. Because you are consumed with livelihood, survivalism. What concerns you with trying to make any change? When you have to be, and you know, of course, the pride of the fact that you have traveled that and people making the demand upon you here is also there.
It's there. So this is really, really challenging. And then as Christians, as God's children, we need to be cautious. Like you said, we are in this world, but not of this world. I think the challenge with many Christians is, even though we are born again, we don't understand, we don't get to learn the principles that governs the life
of that Christian. That new life.
Exactly.
We just assume, since I'm a Christian and I'm not going to steal, and I'm not. Some are even telling lies now, because some people tell lies that their wife is dead.
I mean,
they say they go and marry another person for papers and all of that. And then when the wife, all these kind of things is not Christian.
Some are maintaining 2 homes. I mean, like, in the name of, I mean,
I'm going to be making phone call in the toilet.
Definitely.
If the Igbo woman grabs you in the toilet.
And we have seen people that the Igbo woman send the guy back home. No more access to the children. He has lost everything. The guy is back after 20 years because of such kind of phone call. And the woman back home here too is helping herself.
Must have moved on.
Yeah.
I'm just worried.
She may not have moved on physically, but emotionally she must have moved on. There's one guy somewhere who is helping and all those things like that. And the children have seen all of that.
Yeah, because I look at, like, there's a growing population of African children, particularly Nigerian children in Canada.
That's true.
A lot of families, and they don't have fathers.
They don't.
Most of the fathers are possibly working in Nigeria.
That's true. That's true.
And that's an imbalance. Even in the UK, you see a lot of women. And then this JAPA thing also affects our own wives. So when we are about retiring, because they would now go, they see it as God blessing them in old age, that they now go and spend 2 years in UK, another will go and spend another time. She'll go and spend 2 years in America and leave the old man alone here. It is that same mentality that I'm now enjoying.
God is rewarding my efforts.
Meanwhile, majority of them are locked up in homes. They are lonely.
Yeah.
Nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
When the children go to work, that's when they come back and all that. And then maybe some of them are babysitting and baby whatever. But you get bored. You begin to ask yourself, is it what life is all about?
Life?
If the women are not alive, these grandmothers, won't they take care of their children?
They will.
When has that now become a professional accomplishment?
I mean,
you know?
Exactly.
So for me, I think it requires a lot of effort on the part of spiritual leaders to interrogate this JAPA syndrome.
Okay, we need to go now, and then let me take pattern message, Dr. Wale, particularly to young families, young people out there on this JAPA syndrome. Yeah,
I think somewhere in the book of Ephesians, the Bible talks about Ephesians chapter 3, I think the last verse, when the Bible is talking about the multifaceted wisdom of God, that now to the principalities, that the multifaceted wisdom of God will be demonstrated. I teach work-life balance. And I tell them that work-life balance is not you using your head. Real balance is in the spirit. And that's where spiritual intelligence comes. If you want to grow your family, grow your career, and expand globally, intelligently, you need spiritual intelligence. And JAPA syndrome is not for you. We need to interrogate the JAPA. Where are you JAPAing to go? When you get there, how do you come back home? Is there any pathway to go back, to come back? Or you're just going to be lost there? What is there for your children? What is there for your family? What's there for your future? What's there for you, even after retirement? Or are you going to get disconnected from your roots?
You know, it's really, really broad.
Yeah, it's broad.
I mean, as a psychiatrist, I'm sure you've come across and counseled young people who were sent abroad to go and study.
That is a serious
and
problem.
got depressed.
We're sending teenagers, 16, 17, almost 80 to 90% of them come down with mental illness. If it is not depression, it will be drug. I've had to manage.
Can you imagine?
16-year-old, take them to Canada. Canada that is as cold as fridge.
So what? For what? For what, please?
Children that should still be loitering around daddy and mommy. It's a vogue. And once your child is not abroad, they think you're a failure.
In those days, 16 years in secondary school.
I mean, going around and playing pranks. They now said it to be staying alone.
Alone.
And sorting life
such
issues.
Kind of environment.
Environment that is lonely and everybody's on his own.
And sometimes hostile too.
Of course.
So the black.
You can't call somebody. I think the other time we missed our road and we were trying to ask one man, he said, please, can you get out of here? I'll call police for you.
That's it.
We were driving and then we were to ask for a place. I said, what has that got to do with calling police?
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Iwole. Our viewers, this is naked truth for those who can absorb it. Nobody says you shouldn't go out there. Go if it is in the will of God for you. Not that somebody told you. You discover that in your personal walk with God. And then after discovery of that, you sit down, count the costs.
You understand the breakdown.
You understand the breakdown, and then you know how to take it step by step.
Absolutely.
It will show that God actually sent you. If you are not sent, stay back here and then fulfill the purpose of God for you here. Raise good family. Who says your children won't go there later on?
Oh, yes, now.
I don't say you will not even go there eventually.
Of course.
I mean, like you said, also contentment comes
very
in.
important.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you are complacent. It's different.
It's different.
It's different. So please, and it's a major principle of the new life: contentment. Don't be like others. Don't be fools. Understanding the will of God for you, life. And then wisely pursue it is important. The Lord will guide us. The Lord will help us in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. Next week, Sunday, will be another time again when we come your way for another beautiful topic. I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi. God bless you, and bye for now.